Next, I have Daniel Wu, who is the Web Analytics Manager at Wayfair. Thank you for joining us, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And if you could just walk us through, if viewers aren't familiar with Wayfair, the company, and what you guys do.
Okay, all right. So Wayfair, in general, is a e-commerce site. We sell home decors, so anything ranging from furnitures all the way to home improvements and decorations, for homes. Okay. And we're currently the largest online-only destination for making purchases like that. And we currently have roughly 7,000 suppliers, 7 million different products, and millions of URLs.
Holy cow. So end of the year is really big for you probably, November,
absolutely,
December.
Absolutely. Yes.
Excellent.
And yeah, absolutely. So the company has been growing very quickly. So over last year and the past couple of years, we've been seeing 40%, 50% year-over-year growth. And this year is no different. So we're expecting a huge holiday season coming up.
That's great. And what do you attribute a lot of that growth to? What would you say you've done right that has allowed you to?
I think a lot of things has to do with, we put a lot of emphasis on data in terms of not just the web analytics, but also the operation and the marketing aspect of things. So we take data very seriously, looking at how users behave on site, looking at how where the traffic comes from. We put a lot of emphasis on how data get to us, and how people come to us, and where do they make purchases in the end. And we can better manage the category selections and with the pricing, and there's a lot of things we can do on the analytical side of things to make things happen.
Got it. And what's the mix of your viewers that are web versus mobile versus? Do you have mobile and
for the
apps
Wayfair side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it's desktop and tablet. We do have some mobile viewers, and we do see the trend being increasing for the past couple of years. We hopefully will get to maybe even a dominant percentage for the times to come, like maybe in the next 3-4 years.
Sounds good. And I understand you guys use heat maps quite a bit. Could you tell us how you've put that together and some of the findings you've gotten out of that?
Okay, all right. Yeah, so basically what heat map is we have heat map images or website images kind of laying underneath, and we have bubbles representing number of clicks, interaction, how people behave on site.
Okay, so like a tap or a click.
Yes.
Got it.
So if you tap it or click it, you'll basically, we register it as one click. And those data get aggregated at the page level, at the version level, and from the heat map tools, we're able to see an image of the site or image of a page, and with bubbles around it to show us for this given version, where are people interacting with. So not only that, they can also show the transaction level data too. So from this click or from this link, what was the revenue generated? What was the conversion rate?
Really?
And
wow, that's also very useful.
Yeah, very, very useful stuff. And historically, we have the data already, right? So this has to do with Tableau. But with Tableau, we can actually see very visually, on the page, where, like on the dominant area, on the very, very visible area, how are people doing? And if you drag down to the bottom, you see on the less visible area, how are people interacting as well. So, it gives you a sense of, looking at the page in real time, how are people interacting with the site.
And I would imagine that opens up a whole lot of A/B testing. And what are some of the cool tests that you found out? Like you didn't expect, and the data was like. I used to work for a performance marketing company, and we would sometimes throw up the total, lowbrow. We spent 5 minutes slamming it together page, and this one that was really elegant, and this one got better ROI.
Yes. Absolutely.
Do you guys have any?
Okay, yeah. So it's actually less to do with A/B testing. It's more to do with, kind of finding out how users are behaving. With a specific site merchandising strategy. So, for example, we had a link that was very prominent on the screen, right? So it's a link that's very visible. For some reason, it's getting a lot of interaction with it. So a lot of people are clicking on it, but the conversion rate was very low, right? So from there, we found out, hey, the image on the site, on the page we're looking at, is great. But once you get into the product selection, it was nothing like the original style. So maybe the pricing was different.
People are
the style,
out of it.
people are bouncing out right there.
Yeah.
Maybe going back or maybe exit out of browser. So those are things we can use to we discover if the site is built up correctly, if the site merchandising team is doing their job to make sure people are navigating to the correct product within a few mouse clicks.
Got it. And I'd imagine you guys have a ton of, like you said, data sources, suppliers, operational data, all that stuff. Do you leave it all in place, or do you kind of bring it in and then bring it into Tableau, or how do you?
We do have a dedicated ETL process to bring those data, massage data, cleanse it a little bit. So they kind of come from different places, but we have a central data warehouse, which is actually in Vertica. We have a 12-node cluster system that handles the ETL process.
Cool, and that's hosted on-prem. You guys self-manage and everything?
Absolutely.
Is that, you probably want to keep the ownership of the data?
Absolutely, yeah. This is the reason why we didn't go with any third-party software vendors out there. I mean, there's a lot of heat map software companies that does kind of similar things as what we do. But because we own all the data, we basically sample the data. We collect all the clickstream data. We own the transaction order product data as well. So it's best for us to integrate those data together ourselves.
Very nice.
Yep.
And I'd imagine you have a dedicated IT team then as well.
Yes.
And out of their entire, when you guys got rolling with Tableau, how much time did they spend just setting up the product and getting it running?
I wouldn't say a whole lot. I mean, Tableau is very easy to set up. As a Tableau server is the infrastructure we had to host the service, but I don't think actually a whole lot of time is invested into the infrastructure side of things. To us, Tableau is very easy to maintain. User permission, etc. Those are pretty straightforward, and performance has been very great for us as well.
Cool. And from Tableau itself, what were some of the biggest insights that you got in looking at data and letting it talk to you?
Some of the biggest, in terms of the web analytics or
anywhere, any which way you use it.
Okay. Some of the biggest insights I would imagine are, let me try to think about it. So, I mean, there's a lot of insights. I can't really give you a lot of.
Pick your best story.
But we do have, we work on a project recently on the idea board. So it's a new feature that we have on Wayfair. So you can save things to favorite. You can save things to favorites, and you can come back and view it afterwards. Kind of like the shopping carts, but it's like a micro conversion.
I see.
So we have a dedicated report, constructed out of Tableau that tells us how people are behaving with the new feature we added. And turns out, it's just basically people are adding things to idea board, but they might not be converting straight out, from there. So, that kind of reminds us to, putting some maybe email reminder, maybe sending off some kind of a notification to tell them, hey, this is, it's something sitting in the cart or sitting in the save item list for a while, and you might want to make a purchase afterwards. So we translate those data into something that's actionable, something that the marketing team or the product management team can take action immediately following getting the insights, from Tableau.
Absolutely. And what were some of were you able to see the keynote this morning?
Yes, I did.
What were some of the more exciting things that a lot of announcements there, I know it's a lot to digest, but how are you guys going to use some of the cooler features?
So I think one of the things that popped up right out for me is the ability to integrate a existing dashboard into one of those preview or hover over action. Yeah. So now that I think of it, like key map, you have dots you can hover over. We already have tooltip that shows you the description of what the URL goes to, what was the revenue, conversion rate, 30-day conversion, etc. But now we can actually showcase the trend for that given link, for the number of click days we have. So for example, if we have like 30 days, when the page is live, we can show you for the 30 days, what was the revenue trend, for the past 30 days, or what was the conversion rate for the past 30 days, in a bar chart, in whatever thing we throw at it.
Very cool, and you get it real time.
Yes.
It's on Tableau server. Everybody has access to it. Everybody
Absolutely.
can see
This is a very open data policy at Wayfair.
Cool. How many consumers do you have of the end product?
How many people are actually browsing by using Tableau?
Yeah.
Okay, so
internally in the company.
Internally, so we have 3,000 employees. All of them can.
That big, wow.
Yeah, all of them can actually access the report. Although I think the active users we have is roughly probably 2,000 or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's actually a pretty wide adoption of data or using Tableau, at our company.
Cool. And do you guys see using Visible at all, the new product they just announced this morning?
Visible is very great. It might or might not work well for us because our data size is pretty big. But that being said, there's a lot. It opens out a lot of opportunities, so we can go back and take a look at it, see what's out there. That can be good for us.
Sure. And what are some of the cooler things you're looking to do here? We've got a whole week of sessions and everything left. Do you have any speaking, or are you?
Yes, I am speaking this afternoon on the heat map report itself and how it can be constructed and what was the use case. It's at 3:45 p.m.
Okay.
So one of those rooms downstairs, and if people are hearing this right now, I definitely welcome them to come over.
Absolutely.
And there's a couple of interesting discussion I want to join as well. There's one is JavaScript API. I think that's a new thing that Tableau offered. I think maybe from 9.0 or maybe 9.1. I think that's very interesting, very promising. Historically, people are using like URL embedded into the, you can pass in parameters and dimensions. But with the JavaScript API, things a bit more locked down. So like one small change in URL is not going to break the system. We can just use the leverage existing API that's out there, so we can put wrapper around it instead of using the old school URL construction.
Absolutely, yeah. JavaScript is becoming super popular these days. The event-driven model, the ability to work with natively with JSON, the whole thing.
Yes.
You guys use it quite a bit, I'd imagine, as well for like microservices.
Right now, it's part of the ongoing project we're working on right now. So to sort of incorporate existing Tableau report into a PHP wrapper, so we can do more controls on what it looks like, how it looks like, and maybe adding some custom dimensions and do a few more things that Tableau didn't enable us to do. But with JavaScript, that's going to, with the framework, it's going to allow us to do a lot more customized, complicated tasks.
Very, very cool. And you guys, with your overall data picture, you mentioned Informatica. What are some of the other pieces that you use and you integrate and you pull data into from Tableau?
We actually don't use Informatics, just want to correct that.
So I'm sorry.
We use Vertica.
Vertica, I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Too many verbs in there.
We do have multiple different data sources, Vertica being one, the major one. We do have SSAS, the Microsoft OLAP solution.
Okay.
So a cube is built up. For the most part, we have pivot table from Excel.
Right.
But with visualization, the OLAP also feed into Tableau server as well, so we can actually utilize some of the faster processing or query time that's associated with OLAP solutions. We also use SQL Server directly as well, so SQL Server being part of the less used data warehouse set of framework, so we also have data that lives on SQL Server that we can put in directly as well.
Got it.
Aside from that, we might have some flat files and Excel files, but because we're dealing with web analytics data, for the most part, they're pretty big data sets, and they live on Vertica.
Got it. And do you guys see using, they mentioned this morning, the cross-data joining capabilities?
Maybe not so much to us, though. We do have a pretty excellent IT teams, and we like to handle, have Tableau server handle most of the visualization work, and leave out all the heavy lifting, the row-to-row joins, or maybe, union all tables together, leave out to the BI team to handle those sort of tasks. So maybe it doesn't apply to us much, but we're looking for opportunity maybe to use it for some other areas.
Very cool. And have you guys, did you have any experience with any other visualization tools out there? Have you
additional visualization tools?
Like MicroStrategy or anybody else?
I think when we first looked at Tableau a while back, I think when I would say a while back, it's 2 to 3 years back, they were looking at ClickView being one of it. Tableau's obviously the winner. I think they were also probably looking at MicroStrategy and maybe SAP and SAS as well. So there's a lot of third-party vendors that are out there that's pretty good, but I think Tableau came on top just for the capabilities and the type of visualization you guys can do.
Absolutely. And why did Tableau win over the other ones?
To be honest with you, I can't say for sure, but I think functionality is being one of the major point of winning out. I think pricing is not too bad at all either. I think also the ease to use is one thing we really care about, because we have a lot of people that came out straight out of college with no background into programming, and we want to teach them SQL and then teach them Tableau afterwards. And Tableau obviously being the easy part of the training, because it's so easy to use.
Right. Yeah, that's all good stuff. I mean, I also teach Amazon Web Services, and everybody I talk to that I raise the hand, if you guys ever use Tableau, who loves it? And the hand stays up because it's easy to use.
Absolutely.
They totally make it simple.
Yeah, we came up with our own onboarding process for new hires, and so Tableau is really just a quick demo on how you can do things. This might not be enough for a lot of power users, but for beginners, this is sufficient enough because Tableau is just so easy to use.
Right. And what are some of your favorite features of the product that you use on a day-to-day basis, you yourself?
On Tableau?
Yeah.
So, what do you mean by feature? Can you be a bit more specific?
Like some of the graphing capabilities, or loading from different data sources, or...
Okay. I like the fact that Tableau enables me to not just loading data from extract directly, but also loading directly from Vertica. And there's a couple of optimization we can do to speed things up. Like I mentioned, we have huge data sets, so oftentimes we utilize the context selection to make sure things go a little faster. We also use Tableau server to monitor performances, and for a lot of things are done on the Vertica side of things, but there's a lot of things we use from Tableau server as well to speed things up.
Got it. As far as overall technology, on a scale of 1 to 10, Tableau's ease of use compared to other technologies?
I would rate it a 9.5 or something. Leave some 0.5 over there just for improvements in the future.
Fantastic.
Yep.
That's great. And what are some of the features that you would like to see that you that you're kind of having to maybe cobble together yourself, or some stuff that you have to do that either was announced this morning that's going to solve that for you, or that you would like to see in the product?
Okay. I think one of the biggest thing is first of all, there's a lot of exciting stuff to do with the self-service with the web authoring. That's very exciting.
Right.
I would like to see that we have a lot of users that's looking to copy tables or copy records out from Tableau into Excel. Just because they're familiar with Excel, they're familiar with the whole table form, right? So I think right now copying things out of Tableau is a bit painful. So if that feature can be added in the future releases, that would be hugely helpful.
Got it. And did you guys also see the ability to do the filters that he showed in there this morning? Do you guys do anything custom with that at the moment? Or?
Not quite. We don't quite use that type of functionality for the filter. So
got it. How many? I should have probably asked you this question before. How big is your team that's working on that?
So for the web analytics team, we have 11 to 12 people. We actually going to have two people.
Wow, dedicated for, I guess with a 3,000 person company.
Yeah, dedicated to web analytics. We're actually going to have 2 more joining within 2 weeks. So it's very exciting for us. The team has been growing very quickly. In terms of BI in general, we have roughly 30 to 35
30, 35 total. Yeah. That's including your analytics folks?
That's including the marketing BI, the operation BI, and the web BI combined.
Cool.
We also have
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We also had a dedicated team of data analysts pulling data, getting things from the SQL Server and Vertica directly without going through the visualization part of things. So that combined is roughly 30 to 40 people.
The fact that you're hiring 2 people means you're doing something right, because people that have a data background can kind of work anywhere they want right now. How do you guys attract folks to your company? What do you do different?
With talent acquisition, that's a tough question. Obviously, economy is doing very well right now. A lot of people are hiring. So we try to, first of all, we have a very rigorous interview process. We do not, do any type of technical interview where we ask you to write SQL code right in front of us. We think those can be taught very easily.
Absolutely.
What we try to measure is your business acumen. So how well you can understand the business, how well you can understand, what people are asking you, and how do we translate that into a business requirement. So for instance, we don't actually ask any technical questions, but just a lot of we want to see if you can be trained on the technical afterwards, but we want to make sure you can understand how business runs, if this project is worth doing it, and also what are some of the key metrics you'll be looking at when you're looking at a report, for example.
Yeah, no, that is brilliant. There are so many people I think that are still thinking it's mainly a hard capabilities question, and that, I think you nailed it. It's so you can teach anybody to code, but it's hard to teach those good soft skills like communication.
Absolutely.
Be able to connect dots, be able to see what's important, what's not, be able to innovate. Mm-hmm. Those are really, really cool practices.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we pride ourselves in terms of we have 70% on the technical side of things, but 30% on the business acumen. So it's that 70%, 30% split is what makes us a BI analyst as opposed to a BI developer.
Very, very cool. So it sounds like the folks in your BI department are able to make really big impacts in the companies.
Yes, absolutely.
Does that feed into your management strategy at all? Do you guys do, I'd imagine, a little bit of agile practices as well?
Yes, we do. We do have a agile, like a Scrum style team management. So for some of the teams out there, we have a sprint process, sprint planning. For basically, if you're a software company, you kind of do that for software engineering already. A 3-week sprint with a one week of a planning process, essentially. For our team, we don't have such process because our project actually lasts a little longer, but we do have daily stand-ups to make sure people are on the right track, and it's really just 5 minutes, going through what things you were working on, what kind of things are blocking you, and what can you do today, for example. So we have those daily checks-ups, and also making sure everyone's is on track.
Very cool. Are you guys using Kanban with the dashboard?
We use Kanban dashboard. We have customized Kanban dashboard. You can actually drag and drop into, from in progress to down to review to complete. So there's a lot of things we can do to figure out where people are at and how project's going.
Very cool. And you mentioned it sounds like everybody in the company has access to Tableau.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who was the group that was hardest to get on board? The executives because they were too busy, or?
I wouldn't say executive, otherwise we wouldn't be getting Tableau in the first place.
Okay, good, valid point.
But I think the hardest people to get on board. I actually don't have a good answer for you. I think everyone's loved Tableau so much that it's really, when it came to us, it's right there. I think, let me take it back. So I think we have some of the people who really didn't like Tableau are the ones that are old school Excel users. So that
where's my spreadsheet? Where's my rows and columns?
Yeah, exactly. So having visualized option is great, but sometimes people request to be able to have both options for the deliverables. Yep. So having a chart or something that's being produced by Tableau, at the same time having a OLAP solution that allows them to do size and dice analysis. Right. So traditionally, Tableau has been difficult in that regard because we only have so many desktop licenses and such. But I think with this morning, with web authoring, it's very powerful. I think that's going to help out somewhat because people can just go in there and edit reports and make changes on the fly.
Totally, yeah. It seems like in a lot of the ETL capabilities they have to do to pick subheaders out, group data, merge multiple records.
Exactly.
Seems like that'll start making the Excel folks a little bit happier.
Absolutely, yeah. So our goal is to try to make the self-service ready. Or percentage to be, say, 70%, maybe 80%. Granted that there are going to be reports or ad hoc queries that's out there that cannot be answered by Tableau. So, but we're definitely shrinking that percentage with the initiatives to improve the self-service.
Very, very cool. And you mentioned you're up to 30 BI staff at the moment. What would you guys like to see yourself at in a year? How big of a part of the company is this playing at the moment?
That I'm not sure. I think with the current growth we have, obviously the team will scale up, with revenue, with number of people with support. So
right.
I can't say a number for sure, but just to put things in perspective, last year around this time, we have roughly 15. So we essentially doubled the team within 1 year period.
Cool. And so right now you have 30. If you didn't have Tableau, how many more folks do you think you'd have to have if there wasn't a data visualization
That's
tool
a very
available?
good question. The number can be, I wouldn't say hundreds, but it will be getting close to it.
Wow.
We'll be getting a lot of reports out there that don't exist and require us to go in there and build it ourselves. So that's going to be a lot of analysts supporting, just dedicating to each group and making sure everyone get their needs answered, right?
Very, very cool.
So with the self-service, we can shrink that number down quite significantly.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Daniel, we're wrapping up here. If you could just tell us one more time, your talk today is at
3:45.
Okay, and do you know the room number?
Room number is, I think 122, CX122.
Okay.
CC122, actually.
CC122.
Yep.
Fantastic. And the name of the talk again?
The name is the Web Analytics and how heat map transformed our team.
Fantastic.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to watching it later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Daniel. Take care. Bye-bye.